Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 223. Tesla is in the top of the best-selling new energy vehicle manufacturer in China. And we have some more hints from the restructuring that Tesla is doing. And Tesla continues its expansion of its supercharging network, and nearly all major car companies are sabotaging EV transition. And Japan is worst. And things are not looking too good for Ford's EV business, and Tesla is about to release a full self-driving version 12.4, and it should be 5 to 10 times better. And we of course got some more humanoid robots coming this week, and OpenAI came out with their new version, and we have Tesla kicking off a new construction. And we saw a new, very interesting Tesla on the street this week. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Tesla is doing very well in China despite the sentiment in the mainstream media, and China is not the most important market as many want it to look like either. So we hear Tesla is getting beaten by the competition in China. Well, yes, they are not number one EV maker in the country, but Tesla is still ranked the fourth best-selling new energy vehicle manufacturer in China's booming new energy vehicle market, achieving a 6.7% market share with 62,100 sales in April and 163,000 from January to April 2024, despite a 7.6% year-on-year decline. But that is only about 11,000 units behind last year's numbers. And for an automaker that deliver over 600,000 units in a year, it's hardly a rounding error. But Tesla exported 30,700 in April out of those 62,000 units. So they are still looking good in my opinion, and their trend is still upwards, as you can see on this chart here. If we lay a little line over all the December numbers, it is going one way and one way only. China's new energy vehicle market share reached a record 43.7% in April, which is an all-time high, so that is still growing as well. And of course, BYD is still leading the way with 34%. I predict that new energy vehicle sales could hit something like 1.5 to 1.6 million units in December this year, and that would only leave about 1 million ICE cars left, so we could see something like close to 60% of all vehicles sold in December is new energy vehicles, if everything goes according to plan. And Tesla's Shanghai factory is crucial, serving as a major export hub, but the Chinese market, however, is less critical to Tesla's revenue as many want you to believe, that without the Chinese market, Tesla would die. But looking at revenue compared to the US and other regions, China is not that important. 75% of all of Tesla's revenue comes from outside China. But the factory is no doubt the most important factory for Tesla, as some of the revenue on AJ's chart here in the rest of the world is of course from vehicles made in China. But while Tesla is still number 4 in the country in new energy vehicle sales, the legacy automakers struggles to keep up as new energy vehicles gain dominance. It is Tesla and the Chinese. So I see the legacy automakers having trouble in China, not Tesla. And it looks like the US President Joe Biden is also a bit afraid of the Chinese, as he has announced a 100% tariff of Chinese-made electric vehicles as part of a package of measures designed to protect the US manufacturer from cheap imports. As well as the tariff increase from 25 to 100% on EVs, levies will also rise on everything from lithium battery, critical materials, solar cells, semiconductors and steel. Seems like the US is afraid of the Chinese invasion of technology and electric vehicles. And if the rumors are true that China has an overcapacity of cars in general, as we have seen reported on like this article from Carscopes, China's Autoglued seeks global escape, 40 million capacity, 123 brands, only 22 million buyers. Well, if that's the case, a big push for export is to be expected. So the US is worried for good reason, and the competition in China is so fearsome right now that even some of the Chinese brands are leaving to focus on Europe, like Airways. So the EV war continues in China. And we have some more hints about the restructuring of the company that Tesla is doing. We had a Taylor sharing this on X. I remember everyone calling Netflix stupid for splitting off their DVD business and doubling down on streaming in 2011. But what if I wanted physical DVDs and streaming? Only having streaming will never be enough to satisfy all my movie needs. When was the last time you rented a DVD? Indeed. And that is also why I think it is a good thing what Ford has done with making their electric vehicle business stand alone, so that when their ICE business eventually die, they can just cut it away and continue under the Model E. But I'm not showing this post off because of Ford's great idea, but just saying that it is kind of the same thinking I believe lays behind it, but I am showing it because Elon tuned in and wrote, "Now apply this logic to Tesla." Well, Tesla does not have an ICE business like Ford to split out, but what I think Elon is referring to here is that Tesla is about to change from a company that makes most of its revenue on selling cars, but is about to reveal their robotaxi in only like 3 months. And when every Tesla car suddenly can drive itself, that software in those cars will become the most valuable thing about these cars. And Tesla will have a robotaxi fleet making a lot more money every year than what they could bring in from a simple sales of the car. So Tesla will suddenly have most of their revenue coming from their software and not from their car sales, and will be heading towards AI and robotics as well. As we have talked about many times before, when all of this plays out, Tesla's car business will become a very small part of their business. And the question we have discussed many times before is, will Tesla continue to build cars to sell to the public? In the beginning, of course, but when they get robotaxi ramped up, does it make sense for Tesla to sell a car and get maybe $5,000 to $10,000 in profits once, or make a robotaxi that can bring in something like $30,000 a year for the next 10 to 15 years? And they can be used as AI inference as well. So to still be selling cars at that point seems like a bad choice, looking at the business side of things. And maybe this is also one of the reasons why Tesla has delayed their Mexico factory, because it might not end up being building the $25,000 car, but 3 to 4 million robotaxis instead. So maybe this is what Elon meant by this post, but that is of course all just speculation, but we will have to wait and see how this will all play out. And we have heard so much about Tesla has to stop all expansion of their supercharger network because they have fired their supercharger team. Well, not quite. I just wanted to check how many charging stations Tesla had put up since the team was fired. So I went into Tesla's charging on X and looked at the last 2 days as I posted on X, and Tesla has installed 106 supercharging stalls in those 2 days. So is anyone else keeping up with that? Well, we have heard President Biden say that they will invest billions in the charging infrastructure. So how many stations have they put up since Congress allocated $7.5 billion to help build out those stations over this 2-year span? Because Biden said they will build 500,000 charging stations by 2030. So after 2 years, how far have we got on that project? Well, only 7 EV stations are operational across 4 states, with a combined of 38 charging stalls. And Tesla has put up 106 stalls in 2 days without a supercharging team, and the US government had put up 38 in 2 years. Yes, Tesla makes it look so easy, but we all know when it goes through the government system, everything slows down. But 7 stations in 2 years, they need to do some exponential growth over the next 6 years to get close to 500,000 stations. Elon Musk also replied to the post about it saying, "Wow, I'm starting to think the government is not efficient at spending." Yes, they usually are not, no matter what government we're talking about. But this is not looking very promising. No wonder everyone has jumped on board Tesla's North American charging system when they could see the little progress the US government has been making. So Tesla might be slowing down, but that is still faster than any other charging company at full speed. And they are apparently hiring back some of the people from their supercharging team. Like Elon has always said, if you don't take something back, you haven't deleted enough. Nearly all major car companies are sabotaging EV transition, and Japan is worse, a new study finds. A critical new report has shown that nearly all major car companies are actively sabotaging the world's effort to avoid a catastrophic global warming. The lobbying strategies being used by the world's largest automakers are putting global climate target at risk and threatening the electric vehicle transition, according to a new report released by Influence Map. Influence Map also found the industry's own EV production forecast fails to meet IEA's updated 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario of a 66% EV market share by 2030. The IEA is the International Energy Agency that works with countries around the world to shape energy policies for a secure and sustainable future. And to have a sustainable future, we need to make sure our climate does not increase in temperature of 1.5 degrees Celsius. And to make sure that doesn't happen, IEA have set in place these guidelines that by 2030, 66% of all cars need to be EVs. But aside from Tesla, and only Mercedes and BMW have EV production forecasts that align with IEA's updated 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario, which is this green line in the middle of this chart. And as you can see, no one is really close, and the Japanese are nowhere near. As I made a whole video about how Toyota has made a plan to fail, as you can see, this is their plan. And if that is all they want to do by 2030, well, in my opinion, they will fail. But the report also said Toyota, with the performance band score of D, remains the lowest scoring company and is found to be driving opposition to climate rules in multiple regions. Yes, Toyota is fighting against this. In regulatory comments submitted in 2023, Toyota advocated to weaken greenhouse gas emission standards in the US and Australia. Remember, the US is Toyota's most important market, and they are also engaging in stricter zero-emission vehicle mandate in Canada and the UK. Globally, in 2023-2024, multiple climate policies for light-duty vehicles has been weakened following industry pressure. This includes US greenhouse gas emission standard and Australian fuel efficiency standards. Toyota? Shame on you. When we look at these charts, I think it's getting more and more clear who will be the Nokia, the Motorola, the BlackBerry of the car industry. None of the Japanese have any plan to succeed, or even just trying to get to the target in 2030 that is required to not overshoot our 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario. I used to say, I don't want the legacy automakers to fail. I'm rooting for them to make it. The more the merrier. But they are making that more and more difficult. Maybe we do need some new blood in the industry. So why don't we let Tesla and the Chinese take over on this one? Or dear Toyota, you should get starting to get your shit together. Things are not looking good for Ford's EV business, and they are now helping Tesla even more. As I showed in last week's news show, Ford only sold 10,000 EVs in Q1, down from 12,000 in Q1 of 2023 and down from 18,000 in Q1 of 2022. So they are going the wrong way, and as Ford also sells their cars to dealership and not to customers, this also indicates that Ford dealers have full inventory and can't really handle anymore. And Ford is expecting to lose $5.5 billion this year. Last last year they lost 4.7 billion, and 5.5 billion by comparison, that's almost as much as the profit expected to be made by the company's internal combustion vehicle division, Ford Blue. So Ford is in a very bad place right now. Their profits from their profitable business is getting eaten by the EV business. So now Ford is cutting back on battery orders. Ford's partnership with battery supplier SK and LG Energy Solution and CATL are still up, but the American automaker has started cutting orders for battery packs as it reassesses its short-term plans after demand for EVs in the United States went well under the company's expectations. And as Tesla told us at the earnings call, that means that the price on batteries will come down even further for Tesla, as Ford and GM and Volkswagen and so on suddenly don't want the batteries they ordered. This situation echoes the chip shortage saga, where legacy automakers canceled their chips orders only for Tesla to capitalize on the excess supply. As demand for cars rose again, legacy automakers faced a chip shortage for the next couple of years. It seems they haven't learned their lesson, as they are now cancelling battery orders, effectively handing them over to Tesla. And at the same time, we can take a look at this chart of the price of batteries that have declined 90% over the last 15 years. And now legacy automakers are helping Tesla to get even cheaper batteries. Well, thank you. And do you remember how so many people a couple of years ago were screaming about how batteries would skyrocket and electric vehicles would be so expensive because there was not enough supply of raw materials to make all these batteries that were needed for the car industry? Well, if you can point to this chart and show me where the EV batteries have skyrocketed, that would be really helpful, because I don't seem to be able to find it. And funny how Ford seems the demand problem for EVs. They sell an order of magnitude less EVs than Tesla does. This really just shows that Ford doesn't have what the consumers are looking for. Other customers are just looking at both Ford and Tesla's EVs and are seeing that with Tesla you get more safety, better range with less batteries to fill up, 40% more cargo space, but better software. With Tesla you get a software-defined vehicle, and with the Mark E you get an electric vehicle. So don't think Ford can just turn this bad trend around, as Tesla is holding everyone hostage with the best product for a cheaper price. And Tesla will continue to lower the price as their cost of goods sold continue to come down, but as Ford told us in their earnings deck, their cost of goods sold is flat. So they are not working as relentlessly as Tesla is to reduce the cost of producing their electric vehicles. So I don't think we will see this trend for Ford go away before their next EV platform is ready, that hopefully is much cheaper to produce. But that is all being delayed, so let's see if Ford will ever get to the other side before the losses get too much to bear. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Kia has unveiled the refreshed EV6 that is a little bit better in every single way. And this was already a very good EV, so this should be a solid hit for Kia. I have seen the original one in person and I personally like the look and feel of the car. The only downside, as most people will probably compare it to a Model Y, is the cargo space. The trunk is not that big, only 490 liters compared to Tesla's 700 liters, and the front is also very small, only 52 liters compared to Tesla's 125 liters. So missing out on 283 liters of cargo space. So maybe it should be compared to the refreshed Model 3, but then the EV6 just suddenly gets way too expensive. But other than that, this is a great EV. It does not seem like Kia has actually made the car more efficient though, as they have just put in about 8.5% more batteries, but only get about 5% more range. So not really big progress in that area, as we saw with Tesla's new refreshed Model 3 that got much more efficient. But the price in my country is very similar to the Model Y, just a little bit more expensive, so let's see how well it will do. And TechAU shared this video on X showing off Full Self Driving version 12, being very careful for a cyclist, slowing down and let the other two Teslas pass on the other side before overtaking the cyclist. Very nicely done. And apparently full self-driving version 12 initiated maneuvers and no nag coming to Europe, paving the way for full self-driving supervised to enter the market. Ooh, this is a big deal for us Europeans and a big deal for getting real full self-driving to come to Europe. And speaking of full self-driving and Europe, we did see another example of Tesla's full self-driving version 12 also working well in Europe, including Moldova, where we see it is driving around very nicely. Another great example of what Tesla has created here is a general solution that will work all over the world. You only need to learn the different laws, but the driving is no problem. If you put down a Waymo car in Moldova, it simply wouldn't move and would just be a $150,000 brick. Tesla's $50,000 car with version 12 will drive anywhere you put it down. And Elon did give some stats about the upcoming version 12 release as he wrote on X to Hallmark's catalog. By the way, 12.4 goes into internal release this weekend and limited external beta next week, roughly 5 to 10 times improvement in miles per intervention versus 12.3. 12.5 will be out late June. We'll also see major improvement in miles per intervention and is single stacked. No more implicit stack on highways. And Matthew also asked Elon when Cybertruck full self-driving, and Elon said 12.5. So by sometime next month, you Cybertruck owners will get full self-driving capabilities. The insane progress of improvement just continues. Like Elon said, this will happen. Can't wait for August the 8th. And meanwhile, Tesla is showing off great progress. Waymo is showing off drunk driving skills. So no wonder with that behavior that NHTSA is looking into a dozen of accidents involving Waymo's autonomous cars in crashes and traffic law violations. Yes, it's not easy being up against a system that will improve 5 to 10 times in a matter of weeks, and your system doesn't seem to become better at all. And Sawyer made a little poll on his X account with 30,000 votes, and here are the final result. Take away the C result vote we get. Subscribed 44%, didn't subscribe 56%. Nope, my followers are more likely to subscribe than the average Tesla owner, but still good to see the data. For sure, we did see other articles saying 2% take rate, but their sample was only 3,000 people. And Elon also tuned in on X and said this is not true. But taking Sawyer's example here, it will still bring in quite the profits for Tesla every single month going forward. And another week, another humanoid robot demo. This week we got Unitree showing off their new robot, the little but very capable robot G1. But the most impressive thing was that you can buy this little guy for only $16,000. So it doesn't look like the humanoid robot have to become very expensive. As we have talked about before, Tesla's robot should also get down in this range at some point. And if we pair this news with OpenAI's news about ChatGPT 4.0 that is making some huge progress, and we can now talk to it and we can show it stuff with the cameras on our phone. So just let you imagine, try to picture a humanoid robot with a brain like ChatGPT 4.0. We are definitely heading for something very special. And with the pace of progress at the moment, it should not be too far out in the future. And Starlink's success continues as Carnival, the world's largest cruise company, has a global fleet of 90 plus ships visiting more than 800 ports worldwide, announced that 100% of its ships across the global fleet are now equipped with SpaceX Starlink Global Internet. As Carnival CEO said, Starlink has been a game changer. We are already seeing a surge in guest satisfaction. Yet another of Elon's products making people satisfied all over the world. No wonder so many people hate this guy for him trying to make the world a better place. And construction has kicked off at the new Tesla Shanghai Megapack factory, as we can see in this video from Wuwa. And this should be the same size as the one in Lathrop, so it should be able to produce 10,000 Megapacks each year, potentially generating over $20 billion in annual revenue for Tesla, the car company. And Cybertruck deliveries continue, so now it's suddenly not so special to have a Cybertruck anymore.
It's just super cool to like be like the only guy in Arizona that has one of these. Like, how special is that I'm the only one that okay. Black and everything. Cool. Fine. All right, whatever.
Maybe that is why people are pimping their Cybertruck to stand out, as the Cybertruck will become a very common sight in the US over the next year or two. Yes, like Ford wasn't in enough trouble with EVs already. And we got to see a very interesting post here this week, posted by Nick on X. A refreshed Model 3 was spotted without any side mirrors and testing all new cameras location. Rear window, trunk and side repeaters. The car was seen in Palo Alto. Now that is very interesting. Elon has said before that in the future cars would not have side mirrors and rear view mirrors. So is this testing of the camera setup for a new Tesla? Maybe a robotaxi? Who knows? Very interesting. And Alex made a long post about how BMW's CEO Zipse is still fighting against the ban of ICE cars in 2035, as he thinks it will kill legacy automakers. But Elon tuned into the conversation and wrote, contrary to what he thinks, that mandate, if it remains, will save BMW. Exactly. Light-duty vehicle will be all electric by 2035 anyway. If BMW has no plan for that, if that mandate doesn't remain, they will not be part of the future car market, or maybe become a shadow of the former self. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my new supporters of this channel. My new YouTube member, JDV, and my new Patreon producer, Brian Norlund. Thank you so much for all your help. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun, of people having fun, because Tesla owners just have more fun. I even got a t-shirt with that, link down below.
The f*** was that? What was that? Does it ever get old? How much was this? 20? Which 40? One? The food you got me. Oh, God, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get you. No. Was it 20? Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll sort it out now. Okay. Okay, now I'm done.
That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And maybe, if you did like it, you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.